All right, everyone, real simple film breakdown here and lesson, and it is about the importance of changing hands in field lacrosse. So switching hands from right to left, left to right, anytime you change direction in order to keep your stick protected from a defender. So we'll watch the play here real quick. It's just a couple of seconds, and then we'll come back and break it down. So the player with the ball just did a really nice job of picking up a ground ball. He's a speedy player, accelerates downfield, beats one, two players, but eventually gets caught and ends up losing the ball. And the reason he lost the ball in this situation is because he did not switch hands. So we'll break that down right here. Obviously a right-handed player, a younger player, more comfortable with the stick in his right hand. Does a really good job here of reading the angle of the riding player and using a change of direction to separate. So you can see here that the player with the ball is accelerating straight forward. The riding midfielder, it appears to be here, is heading this way to try and intercept him. The player with the ball uses that momentum to his advantage, changes direction, plant, and pushes off, cuts at the perfect time, forces his defensive player to flip his hips and have to change direction, and that separates, all right? And a good roll there, too, to keep the stick protected. But the problem with a roll when you don't switch hands is you end up, the reason he rolls right here is to protect his stick and get it away from that defender. But when you don't switch hands in your roll, you end up with your stick right back next to that defender again. All right, he continues to progress forward, and he's a speedy player. He gets a couple of steps on that defender, and right here, he should have switched to his left hand in that roll. If he didn't switch in the roll, he should definitely be switching to his left hand right here because both chasing defenders are on his right side, so he's going to want to switch that stick to his left hand to keep it protected, but keeps it in his right. This allows those defenders to catch up. If he was in his left hand right now, there's no way they would be able to check his stick, but because he keeps it in his right and doesn't switch hands, ends up getting caught, getting stick checked, and dropping the ball. So a lot of really good things from this player on this play, right? Great ground ball. We can't see it here, but he does a great job of picking up a ground ball. Great job of reading the angle of the defender, changing direction to create space, just needs to switch hands right there to keep that stick protected. He would be in his left hand now. His stick would be protected. He would be able to dodge again or throw a feed. He's got two players on him. That means someone's open. Maybe it's his teammate right here. He could throw a left-handed pass up to that teammate and get an assist. But because of the lack of switching hands, it means his stick is not protected. Defense is able to catch him, and that ball ends up on the ground. So real important in your practices. When you're training on your own, make sure you're using your opposite hand, working on your catch, switch, throw, switching hands, and make sure in practices, even though it's not fun, even though you know you're probably going to make a mistake, you're going to drop the ball, you're going to throw a bad pass, make sure you are using your opposite hand. And you can even let your coaches know, say, hey coach, I really want to work on my opposite hand passing today, so I'm going to make a lot of passes with my left hand. Some of them might not be so great, but I want to get really good with my opposite hand. And I promise you your coach is going to say, hey, that's awesome. That's great. Use that opposite hand today and develop it and get better at it in practice. Do it in practice so you can execute in games, and it's going to lead to more assists, more goals, more ground balls. Being a two-handed lacrosse player is going to change your game.